Integrated Project by Ronald Harrison for CNR 690, University of North Carolina at Greensboro. The organization in which I did my program was the Conflict Resolution Center of Cabarrus County in Concord, North Carolina. About the program, the Conflict Resolution Center of Cabarrus County in Concord, North Carolina, whose primary mission is the collaboration between the district courts of Cabarrus County and Rowan County, the district attorney's office of both counties, and the attorneys in the area with mediation services and teen court for Cabarrus. Mediation cases were private warrant cases that were between friends, neighbors, co-workers, things that happened in churches, funeral homes, businesses, etc., that were seen in district criminal court. Program purpose was to provide a safe and neutral place where the parties involved can sit down and work out their conflict with the hope of avoiding the cost and inconvenience of court proceedings and come to an agreement that will work for both parties with the help of trained volunteer mediators who are not always not lawyers and do not give legal advice at a minimal cost to the defendant and dismissal of all charges related to the case as the case is if the case is resolved. The type of clients we dealt with, program dealt with people from all races, classes, genders, cultures, and ethnicities. All parties involved must agree to the mediation, and the defendant is not eligible for the program if they have prior felonies, a long criminal record, domestic violence cases, or have recently been through a mediation process with the program. Many of these restrictions have been established by state law or by the program advisory. Now, examples of the type of disputes. Some of them were personnel, uh, between co-workers, issues that affected the workplace and job performance. Situations where there's neighborhood problems, such as noise, animals, nuisances, or property damage. Youth conduct, including truancy, neighborhood or family disputes. And last but not least, criminal offenses, such as simple assaults, injuries to personal or real property, trespassing and communicating threats, etc. Now, the other facet of the program was teen court. Teen court gives teenagers who have made a mistake a second chance, allowing them to avoid a stain on their official juvenile record, which could follow them, particularly if they intend on going into college, that might or going into work places. A criminal record uh, charge would end up could possibly cause them a stumbling block in the future. This program capitalized on the positive effects of peer pressure. First time misdemeanor offenders are judged and sentenced by the peers and are held accountable for their actions. Now, both programs save our community hundreds of thousands of dollars in expense because we assist in minor uh, civil and juvenile court cases. The courts are able to focus on more serious matters. The program effectiveness, the Conflict Resolution Center of Cabarrus County has a 92% success rate in regards to successful mediations. The concept of mediation in the district criminal court system is beginning to spread throughout North Carolina as a viable alternative to court proceedings. This is achieved at a minimal cost to both the courts and the defendants. The objective of the project. My project was directed toward mediation and dispute resolution component of the program. I felt that this program would give me the insight into court related mediation and mediation as a whole. I became interested in this field as a crossover career move that would allow me to learn new techniques in dispute resolution while using the 25 plus years experience I have in law enforcement. My duties while at the program, I performed background investigations of clients and eligibility for program participation. Next, I completed the paperwork for teen court cases and some counseling with the teens that were involved in the cases. Next, I did mediation of some misdemeanor criminal court cases, either the co-mediator or a solo mediator. Next, at completion of the paperwork for district court case dismissals. Last but not least, I assisted in the exploration for expansion of this program to Stanley County, North Carolina. The lessons I learned while at the program. Mediation, number one, is not an exact science. Those things learned in the classroom are helpful, but you have to be flexible in your techniques and applications of the processes to be successful. Basically put, mediation is not a cookie cutter kind of just inline bang, bang, bang type of procedure. Uh, it will basically vary on the attitudes of the clients that come in, their mindset, and how they perceive the conflict and how important it is to them. Having the skills of understanding body language, conflict resolution, communication, negotiation, and mediation are important in this career field. Being well versed in these techniques and in understanding how people handle stressful situations and conflicts help to overcome the negative barriers of negotiations and mediations, which many times can end up being a block for coming to a successful resolution. Now, the competency requirements for this capstone, when it comes to theoretical background of the field, things in which I learned in regard to transformative mediation, transformative conflict, culture, how culture and class and ethnicity can also play a part in conflict, on how the needs of certain people and what brings people to conflict actually end up being very helpful. The work of Galton, the work of Mukin, the work of Kaiser and Ray all ended up being very helpful to me in uh, this capstone. When it comes down to global competency, it's an accepted fact that mediation is a preferred way rather than conflict, a further escalation in conflict and the way in which they're dealing with certain situations. Um, and you could see it actually in practice on a smaller scale here in the capstone when you dealt with people from different races, different cultures, different classes, different genders. It was amazing on how even where it was applied there, you can eventually see it applied on the global scale. Next, when it comes to collaboration, again, this was the collaboration between the community, the courts, and the district attorney's offices in providing these services. Working on many of the people who worked there were volunteers, um, and yet it was one of those programs that was very successful with a 92% success rate. When it comes to cultural competencies, as I've said before, the program took on all comers, regardless of race, creed, class, gender, ethnicity. We saw them across the board and their interactions and how each culture and depending on class and culture, all dealt and ethnicity all dealt with conflict. So you had to be uh, open-minded to them and understand exactly where they were coming from and how their view of conflict, therefore, to allow them to try to transform the situation or the conflict to a different level. When it comes to conflict resolution skills, the skills of mediation, negotiations, active listening, communications, all played a significant part. Being able to to rephrase, to refrain, to show empathy, to have a good listening ear, to be able to think outside the box to help them find solutions. Because in mediation, we're not allowed to tell the parties what to do, but we can help guide them in their thinking and reasoning to be able to come to a successful resolution of the conflict. When it comes down to public policy, where this is now a day and time where budget crunches and finances is becoming a big deal in regard to providing services. Um, the mediation center was able to reduce the workload of the district court, allowing them to deal with more serious cases when many of the cases that were dealt with in the program was something where many times the people involved, when they came to their senses, decided that they really didn't want to take out the warrant or had not or came in as combatants, and we were at many times, not always, but at many times able to change their minds, change the precepts, and bring them to a successful resolution of the problem without having to involve the courts. And last but not least, project management. Thanks to the director of the program, that she gave me much insight into how the program worked, uh, what was the gain and the importance, and how the success rate came about, and the techniques used, and hopefully I'll be able to translate that if and when the program is spread to a neighboring county of Stanley County. In conclusion, mediation is a career that requires patience, a listening ear, an open heart, and a sensible and creative mind. You must be flexible and be able to change directions and techniques as needed as the situation dynamics change. You must be well versed in all of the mediation and negotiation skills, along with cultural, class, and gender dynamics to be successful in this field. And a good understanding of human nature is also helpful. My personal comments. I thoroughly enjoyed this practicum and the experience I received from my participation with the conflict resolution program of Cabarrus County. Special thanks to Ms. Jessie Blackwell, the director, and her team for their patience, support, and willingness to share their knowledge in the field of district court mediation. Thank you very much.